All right. So this just came out from the Futures Past archives of antique dolls. The lighting is really crappy in here right now. So her face doesn't really look like this in real life. Okay, so I just found her. She was wrapped up. Now she has her original hat. Let's take I don't know. I don't know why we're going straight for the original hat. But look at this. Okay, look at this beadwork. And yeah, there's like some kind of, I don't know, my seams or anything to do with textiles, but this looks like feather stitching. We have velvet. We even have like bird feathers going throughout this. We have more velvet going down here. Look at this. This is exquisite. Now wait till you turn this around. And this is what caught my eye. This peacock-like type of design. Very, very indicative of the Art Nouveau era. Very, everything was like very naturalistic. Peacocks were featured in a lot of the art and this and that. I'm going to guess that we have a specimen here that was made in the 1890s. Now, I could be wrong, but I do know the Art Nouveau movement went on to about, I think, 1905 or 1908. Look at this doll, really quite interesting. Who the hell made her? Now, we know she's German, and when I say we, I do. I do know she's German. She's not French. She has pierced ears. Don't know if you can see that down here. She has little holes for her earrings. And she looks like, if you look from here down, you might think she might be a Kessner or a Simon and Halbig. But yeah, she's not drawing any kind of familiarity to me. And she could be what's known as a mystery doll. Look at this open mouth with teeth. We're going to try to zoom in on this to show you this. Very, very weird. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teeth. And the way they were cut out shows me this is an earlier open mouth doll. Open mouth dolls were post closed mouth dolls. And the earlier dolls came with this closed mouth type of design. And afterwards, a new innovation started, I believe, in Germany, where they cut a little, you can see the cutout in the mouth. Right here, you can see a little cutout into the bisque where they inserted these little porcelain teeth. The eyes, oh my God, the eyes are amazing. And let me just get the hair out of the way. It drives me crazy when there's flyaways. This is why I do not like human hair wigs, but look at the striations of the eyebrows. These were painted very well. We have what appears to be spiral glass threaded eyes. Really quite lovely. These were hand blown by glass makers. We have the upper and lower hand painted lashes. Now later dolls, somewhat in the beginning of the 1900s, 1904, 1905, I believe, I'm not 100% sure, would come with actually no upper painted lashes. A lot of them would come with what was known as wimpern or hair eyelashes, and made out of like human hair or mohair. So wow, look at this little pert little nose. And what's really unique is this little chin dimple and this little dimple right above her lips. Now, she is a socket head doll. And I don't know, you guys probably watch my videos until you blew in your face and probably heard me. I'm explaining this for newcomers. A socket head doll is a doll that's on a jointed composition body. Some of them were carved out of wood, and some of them were mixed with composition, sawdust, and plaster of Paris, and a few other things with glue to make these bodies. Some of them were made out of parts of turned wood. So sometimes you'll find the legs will be made out of turned wood. Now we have original dress. And look at this. This is really beautiful. This is like almost a drop-waisted dress in a way. And oh, my camera is casting a shadow. It figures. It's that time of the day. All right. So we got this original dress. Underneath, we got this original pair of underwear, which was like a slip coming first. Second, we got pantaloons. And this is the type of underwear that little girls and women used to wear. It came down to almost their ankles. Really, really uncomfortable to wear in the summer. And then we have the original shoes with the little rosettes in the front. They're tie shoes with the original socks. Now, really interesting is these original socks. Look at the color. The color is just quite beautiful. Almost has like a silk quality to them. Don't know if you can see that. Let's go to the other side where the lighting might be a little better. And let's get in there close. You can see it's like almost silk. And I love the weave of that. The weave and the pattern of that is just great. Now there's dust all over the stand. Ignore that. The doll is old. I'm guessing this doll to be from the... Oops, my pop socket just flew off. I'm guessing the doll to be around from the 1890s. Now, the hat is so delicate. Okay, this is actually an original hat. Let's get in there close and look at the ribbon ties. And you can see it's made out of some kind of taffeta. And yeah, it's covered in dust, quite normal for an old doll. But if I untie this and then I go to retie this, what will happen is, especially taffeta, silk is even worse. Taffeta will disintegrate. So especially taffeta this old will disintegrate. So if I go to untie this bow and then tie it tight under her chin and then tie it back into a bow, it will crumble and fall apart. Okay, just pulled on the bow, and it already split. So it's like a crepe, almost like a crepe material. But I want to know who made this doll. And so the cool part again is she's got this jointed composition body. It's segmented. And so she has an elbow area. And now an earlier doll will have straight wrists like this. Generally the French dolls had these straight wrists when they came out, like the baby jumeaux and the jumeau dolls, the French baby dolls. And they would have these unjointed wrists made out of turned wood. And the wrists and the joints of the body are held together with elastic bands. The danger of this, the head is also attached to a hook to these rubber bands. And these rubber bands dry rot over the years. The head, it's happened to me before where I've had, oops, my pop socket fell off again. We're talking about things falling off and that happens. Okay, I've had an issue where I had an antique doll on top of my mantle place. And one night I'm sitting there and the head ricocheted across the room, flew across the room because the bands that held the head onto the rest of the body with bands throughout the body actually dry rotted. And so that's a real danger if you're an antique doll collector. Your doll's head could actually one day, the bands could weaken up and dry rot. It happens. These bands are over 120, 110 years old. Sometimes in some cases, even 130 years old. And what happens to rubber? It breaks down and degrades over the years, and then you're screwed. Now I'm trying to figure out who made this girl. And I'm going to turn her around and I'm going to try to lift up this bonnet and get under the back of her head to take a look. And oof, we don't want to like bother it too much, if you know what I mean. But yeah, it's under there somewhere, trying to see. And let's try to move this stuff out of the way. And it's it's almost virtually impossible. I'll be back. Okay, we're going to try this again with the flash. And we're going to try to see, do we see it? Now, you look low down on the back of the neck. No. And we move up here and we see what appears to be a 1. I don't see, I mean, it doesn't look like it's a hairline crack. I'm trying to get under here. Now, this is the pate. Wow, look at that. It's wefted. I believe that's called wefting. And that's how the hair was attached to it. Yeah, I'm trying. Okay, all right. So this came off at one time. And I did stuff the inside of the head. Now, that does not look like a hairline. It could be a kiln split. I do not think it's a hairline crack. Because it does not look like a typical hairline crack. But I do think it's like some kind of kiln. Yeah, something that was done in the kiln. You know, like when it was fired. I could see fingerprints. Okay, these fingerprints were put here over 100 years ago. This is somebody who crafted this doll's fingerprints, guys. That is actually really sick. That's crazy to look at. All right, and I'm trying to find an identification for this doll. Cannot find it. This does not look like a hairline. It looks like a little line that when they were baking the head. Let's try to pull the neck forward. Sometimes it's low down on the neck, and I do see something. Do you see that? I do see something. but I can't make it out. Okay, we're going to go in there with a tighter zoom, and we're going to try to make this out. And yeah, this is a complete mystery doll. This is like the doll that is not going to tell us who the hell made her. Let's take a look at this really closely and carefully. Yes, this is a mystery doll. This is what doll collectors call a mystery doll. Oof. We're not going to probably know who made this doll, and this sort of sucks. Let's try to look at it from different angles. And I'm going to pull the head up just a little bit. And yeah, this is a complete mystery doll. Okay, let's look at the ears. Again, pierced ears. She was made, like if you look over here, she has these two holes on the side of her head. Where actually, sometimes you would call this a Belton head doll. Now, at the back of the head where I showed you that little pate or that lid was, if that was one solid piece of bisque, this would be known as a Belton head doll. And I'll explain to you in a moment what Belton head dolls are, because it would be strung through these two holes on the side of the doll's head. So I'm actually, yeah, now we can see with the flash, this amazing and wonderful hat. Look at that. Okay, here is my uneducated guess. I believe this is what is known as a Belton style. It's not a Belton. It's definitely not a Belton doll, but a Belton style Sonneberg. Yeah, she was probably from the Sonneberg region, and it could possibly be a very early Bar and Prostyle doll. She has all the earmarks of a Bar and Prostyle doll. Now, the insides of her eyes are yellow. That can be cleaned out with a little bit of Q-tips. You don't want to get water on the eyes because they were held in place by actual pieces of plaster of Paris. Now, all in all, if I was to sell this antique doll in my Etsy shop or Ruby Lane shop, I used to be a dealer on Ruby Lane. Definitely not on eBay. You can't command the prices that you want to command as opposed to a specialized shop or antique shop in an exclusive store, say on Ruby Lane or something like that. I would probably not sell this doll for less than $1,000. That's not to say that it will not sit there for 3 or 4 years. There's always an ass for every seat, as they say. There's always an ass for every seat. Somebody always, when I used to sell antiques, especially like high-priced antiques, sometimes my stuff would sit there for about a good 8 months to a year. And somebody would always come along who wanted to pay the price. And so, yeah, I would not sell this precious child for less than that amount. Yeah, without a doubt. Is that correct, the value? Basically, it's subjective. It goes by clothing, especially original clothing. Original clothing will actually add on at least 30% to the value of your doll. You have the original shoes, the original socks, the original dress, the original hat, as we do in this case, the original wig and hair, the original pate on the top of the head, no hairline cracks. Yeah, you can get more of a premium price. Now let's look up antique dolls in general. We'll read about the factories and Germany. And then we're going to find out, is she Belton style or Belton-like? And we'll find out what a Belton doll is. Okay, so this is very important to help us date our dolls. If you find a doll and you want to know more about it. Because of the McKinley Tariff Act of 1890, yes, there's going to be ads popping up everywhere, of 1890, which required goods to be labeled with the nation of origin, especially like they're talking about China head dolls, but this is for every product. It's not even just dolls. It's every single thing. It says, were marked with Germany in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Furthermore, since 1921, and it's not only just China head dolls, every doll head was required to be labeled made in Germany. Due to these damn ads, oh my God, it's so irritating. Okay, labeled made in Germany due to a law that added made in to the mark section. So if you see something made in Germany, it does not necessarily mean it was made from 1921 on. Some companies such as Kessner way earlier than 1921. We're talking like the 1890s and stuff like that, did put made in Germany on the back of their doll's head. So this isn't always a clue or an indicator. But if you don't see a country of origin written on the back or incised on the back of the shoulders of the doll or the back of the neck or head, it is basically telling us that this doll was made prior to the 1890s. Now, that's not to say that the doll might have not have had a paper label that was glued on to the back of the body or the head that would have that information. So it's not 100% an indicator of age. Okay, let's continue to go down. And these damn ads are really irritating the shiz out of me. Okay, in the 1880s, France and Germany started manufacturing a new type of doll called the Bisque doll. Bisque dolls soon became widely popular and spread to the United States and China. In the early 20th century, China head dolls slowly started to lose popularity. Now, a China head doll is mostly all white and glazed. Like, I'm talking like mirror, shiny glazed. The doll I showed you a moment ago is Bisque. Here we go with another ad. Bisque, which is unglazed porcelain. It's painted, but it's just not shiny. Okay, so let's continue to go. The production continued in the United States and Japan. They're talking about China head dolls. The quality of the new dolls, however, was inferior to the original. So during World War I, just around World War I, the United States entered into war with Germany, and Japan took over the making of a lot of the China head dolls and dolls in general. They made copies of German Bisque dolls as well. So you have to be mindful also, because sometimes you might think you have a German or a French Bisque head doll when it was Japanese. And there are a lot of markings on the back of the head that will give you the name of the company, letting you know that it's Japanese. All right, so let's continue to go down. Okay, the difference between China head and porcelain. There are many different types of ceramic porcelain dolls, and the most popular, damn ad. Oh, God, no, I don't want to read that. Okay, the most popular being the China head dolls and Bisque dolls. Both types first appeared in the 1800s, with China head dolls first, by the way, made in Germany, and Bisque dolls made in Germany and France. Let's continue to go down. We got a freaking map. Both dolls have a porcelain head and a cloth body, and they forgot to mention the Bisque ones not only do have a cloth body, sometimes they have leather, like kid leather bodies, and composition jointed like my doll. Here we go with another ad. And so it says instead the head of a Bisque doll has a matte finish, giving it a texture more similar to real human skin. Okay, a little bit more about Bisque dolls. Bisque dolls were first made in France, but they're by the way, French dolls are luxury. It's like equivalent to today's day and age, luxury purses, luxury clothes, luxury watches. A lot of them are made in France. You know, that's where the most luxurious products generally come from. Germany, look at this crap. Germany pretty much made a mass-produced product for middle-class children. Especially, Germany made some of the best toys known to man, if you collect antique toys. And they were mass-produced for like middle-income people, even slightly lower. The French made toys and dolls for the richer class people. Okay, more of a luxury product. Okay, so they usually had elaborate wigs made of mohair or real human hair. It says the Bisque dolls became more popular around the 1880s. Became more popular than China head dolls. Okay, so at first the dolls had glass eyes that looked more natural and appealing. It says just like China head dolls, Bisque dolls represented grown women at first, but later changed their appearance to childlike. So that's where we know today as the dolly-faced dolls. More for children. They were like more childlike. Bisque dolls were more decorative than China head dolls. They were often dressed in lace dresses. I showed you mine. And even wore jewels and flowers. Bisque dolls eventually exceeded China head dolls in popularity, and every affluent family in Germany owned at least one Bisque doll. Okay, so what the? No way. This is so random, guys. How do I identify a China doll? These bastards are, look at me, making me click on ads They're making money off of a video I put on years ago. No, I'm no antique doll expert, but I did a video about trying to figure out who made my China head dolls that you see here in this video. And excuse my language, these sons of bees actually put a link with a thumbnail of my video, and you saw all the ads that just popped up. Well, guess what? They're making money off of my video. I'm a little pissed about this, guys. We'll watch a few minutes of it. I'm very pissed. Look, it won't even let me play it. It won't even let me play it right now because I'm on my phone. Maybe it's hearing me curse at them. But, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Here we go. Here's one of my videos that I did many years ago. And we gotta watch ads. Okay.
See. The faces look similar. So I guess we'll never find out who made these dolls. It's pretty much a mystery to me. And I was glad I was able to share this with you guys. And check back soon because I'll be doing more videos. Ooh, that wouldn't have been cool if I would have broke it. Now this one, I believe is from the 1860s or the 1870s. Now you can tell the difference with these dolls about like somewhere you can get an idea about what era they were made in by the way their hairstyles are and the shapes of the tops of their heads. Now this one I believe is called a modified flat top. Some of the earlier dolls had actually flatter tops on their heads. The earlier dolls had a higher hairline. So their hair would be higher up, and they would call them eyebrows. Now, the later the decades went, the hair would actually get closer to the eyebrows, and they would call those, low brows. Now, this one is the least oldest out of all of them. And this one was made somewhere between the 1890s and the early 20th century, probably 1900 or so. And she is an unknown character. I have no idea who made her. And maybe we'll go into the book and we'll try to figure it out and try to see if this book is a really good reference book. Now, this one is probably my oldest. Let me pick her up. And she has a factory body. So let's show you. Now, she is a real, flat top, I believe. Now, again, I'm no expert. You can correct me in the comments below. But she's definitely, Civil War era. And look at that cool hairstyle. And most of these China heads were actually made with black hair. And that's because, of course, more people commonly had dark hair. The blondes are much rarer than the ones with the dark hair. Now, let me show you, actually, what her body's made of. I'm trying to get away from...
Oof. That sound. It just makes me... Yeah, it makes me cringe. I shouldn't have had them banging into each other. So you see, I'm not an expert, but they linked to my video and I'm making money off of it. I'm going to have to contact them a little later on. Okay, I was doing research until I was blue in the face. At first, I thought this was a Bar and Prothschild doll. I really, really, really thought this was a Bar and Prothschild doll. And then I started really, really delving into this. And yeah, I can't tell you who made her. She's most likely possibly a Kuhnlenz doll. And actually, Gebruder Kuhnlenz. It was three brothers that created dolls from I believe the 1870s to about 1935 or something like that, or 1929. But she has an unusual face in the fact that she has these mump-like cheeks that come out. They jut out. She has she looks a lot like a Kuhnlenz doll. Now, this yellow can be cleaned on the sides of the eyes, so ignore that. But yeah, she has a very unusual shaped face with this pert little nose right there. I don't know if you can see that, with the really enhanced philanthrum, I believe they call that little dot above the lips, and a little punched in chin dimple. She has pierced ears, like I told you earlier, and the shape of the eyebrows are very Kuhnlenz-like. I did more research while I was, making this video, and a lot of Kuhnlenz dolls have these unusual striated eyelashes, eyebrows. And also, so does Bar and Prothschild. But I really don't think it's Bar and Prothschild. It has a very Kuhnlenz look to it. Or what's known as a Sonneberg. A lot of mystery dolls get called Sonneberg style dolls or Sonneberg dolls. A lot of dolls were made in the Sonneberg area. Also, Walterschauen, I believe Germany made a lot of dolls as well. But Germany was the like toy capital of the world. So all different parts of Germany, even Bavaria, all different parts of Germany made dolls. It wasn't just in one place, but there was some places that had more doll factories than others. So yeah, sometimes you just get a doll. It has no identifying markings, and you got to sit there and you got to be like, who made this doll? Who made this doll? Do we have any clues? What the hell are the clues? Let's look at like the way it's constructed. Let's look at the certain features of the doll, because certain features, certain factories were known for. Like, for example, like factories such as Kestner were just known. Like, you look at a doll after collecting Kestners, say you're like a Kestner fanatic. After a while, you'll be able to look at an unmarked Kestner and know right away it's a Kestner doll. But these Kuhnlenz dolls, which I think this is a Kuhnlenz, I'm almost positive that this is a Kuhnlenz doll. A lot of them actually, they made a lot of shoulder head versions. But yeah, the more I look at this doll, the more I think Kuhnlenz. Kuhnlenz heads were actually found on Jumeau stamped bodies. So a lot of times the French, to save money, because the Germans were beating them, they were like, I'm not kidding you, the Germans were putting them out of business because they were producing a mass-produced product that the French were charging like 5 times the price for. And people got fed up, just like the same thing with Louis bags, Louis Vuitton bags. A lot of people don't want to pay $3,000 for a Louis bag, but they like the design and style. So they'll go on websites such as DHgate and purchase a fake Louis bag. What we know today is like counterfeit or, replicas. People will get sick and tired of spending like the highest of prices for nice items, and they'll settle for a copy or something similar to it. And that's what I think was happening to the French. They just could not compete. As a matter of fact, right around 1890s, the late 1890s, the French, like companies like Jumeau and FG, and there's loads of them. They just could not compete with the Germans any longer. They could not put out a luxury item like they were used to putting out and demanding the prices they were, because nobody was paying for it anymore. They just settled for the German dolls because the German dolls made quality products. And so why the heck would you pay $3,000 for something when you could pay $500? It's a no-brainer. And the same thing with fashion of today. Name brand stuff. People get fed up after a while. They don't want to pay $4,000 for a pocketbook, and they're going to find a copy of it for $200 and they'll be just as happy because it'll look almost identical, be just as nice of quality, and they'll just do it that way. So the Germans pretty much took away the French's ability to actually stay in business. So a whole bunch of French makers, luxury French doll makers, got together under one roof and created a syndicate called the SFBJ, which is an acronym. I ain't even going to get into it right now. It's too long. And they all pooled themselves together and started buying heads from German makers who made them to the French specifications. The Germans, like Simon and Halbig, also made heads for the French makers. And they would put these German heads on French bodies that were stamped with French names and sell them as French dolls. It's insane to think about. But she is a beauty and a mystery, and we may never know who the heck made her. Look at that pert little nose. Look at this. She actually looks like she's smiling. She almost has a Kestner-esque look to her, mixed with some kind of French type of look to her, but she's not telling us who made her. I suspect it's Kuhnlenz. I don't know why, but I really do suspect this is a Kuhnlenz doll. If you know, write it in the comments below. No guesses. If you're not sure, don't say, well, I think it was made by this. If you know, I want you to write who made her. She's not marked. She's not telling us. She could be an early Kuhnlenz before they started marking them with mold numbers. And she's a beaut. So I hope you enjoyed our research. What we found out was absolutely shiz. We could not solve this mystery. This, unless you have enough reference books, and you have enough like ads from back in the day. You have factory information from the German factories with actual photographs of the products they put out. You will probably not know who made this little girl. And she's beautiful, and we'll call her a mystery doll.